Good evening. I would like to call to order the Keizer City Council in regular session. It is Monday, April 5th, 2021, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Day?
Here.
Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Councilor Herrera?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Smith?
Here.
Councilor Reed?
Here.
And Councilor Duran?
Here.
Thank you. If you are able, please rise and please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. Council, I would like to ask your concurrence on making a change in the agenda for this evening. We have two agenda items that need to be brought forward. One is the appointment of a city manager pro tem, and the other is and also a resolution to talk about the intent to appoint an interim and permanent city manager. The second item is the designation of banking signers. That one can wait till later, but this is the one we need to take care of right now. So with council permission, is there any objection to adding to the agenda here at the top of the order the appointment of a city manager pro tem? All right, seeing no objection. Due to the resignation of City Manager Chris Epley, the office is now vacant and the council needs to move forward to appoint an interim city manager as well as a city manager pro tem. The city manager pro tem would ideally serve for no more than 30 to 60 days until an interim city manager is selected. The interim city manager will serve until the selection process for a permanent city manager is complete and the permanent city manager is appointed. To accomplish this, we have before us two resolutions from Shannon Johnson, our city attorney. The first one appoints the city manager pro tem, and he has not put in a name, and I would like to make a recommendation for a name to go in that place. So first step, we need to have a motion to suspend the rules to consider the appointment of a city manager pro tem and to initiate the process for the selection of an interim and permanent city manager. So I need a motion to suspend the rules.
I motion that we suspend the rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Council, in consultation with Council President Smith, and we met with our city attorney and human resources director on Friday, we would like to bring forward a recommendation to you that the city manager pro tem be Tim Wood. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that recommendation. And Mr. Wood has agreed to serve in that capacity if we pass this resolution. Comments? Councilor Herrera?
I have no problem with that. I think it's fine. Tim is a good guy, and yes, it's a good choice.
Okay. Any other thoughts, consideration? Councilor Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am confident that Tim will do what is necessary, and we have very excellent people on staff, and I think Tim is a good fit for that job.
All right, thank you very much. Then looking at on the dais in front of you, you should have a copy of Resolution R 2021 appointing the city manager pro tem, and the blank in there is for the name of Tim Wood. So Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt a resolution R 2021 appointing a city manager pro tem, Tim Wood.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021 appointing the city manager pro tem, Tim Wood. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. Also before you is a, and thank you, Tim, for being willing to serve.
I offer my condolences.
They really did it.
The second one is a resolution R 2021, the intent to appoint an interim and permanent city manager. So What this would do is direct that the city council, that the mayor, with the assistance of city staff, move forward with the recruitment and selection process of an interim city manager and report back to the council with that process. So this just puts the wheels in motion to start having that conversation. It is my intent to go to the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments, which is A, recently completed the same process, and B, has resources and services that we get as a member of that organization to avail ourselves of to assist with this process. And having those resources available to us, I think will be very helpful in recruiting an interim city manager and then a permanent city manager. Understanding that this could be a professional, somebody with experience and that can come in and already knows the job. Any questions or comments? Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt a resolution R 2021, intent to appoint interim and permanent city manager.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, intent to appoint interim and permanent city manager. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Wood. It was a pleasure meeting with you Friday afternoon as we talked about this possibility and your willingness to serve, and all of our department heads. You are an amazing team, which doesn't surprise me at all, but I really want to express my deep appreciation to each and every one of you for the quality that you continue to bring to everybody in Keizer. You're just awesome. So thank you. All right, and then we'll take care of the other one under other business. There we go. So back to our regularly scheduled agenda. The first up is the proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I want to invite up here Shani Starr, who is the Executive Director of CASA, the Court-Appointed Special Advocates. And as she gets set up, I think you're all about ready to go. Why don't we do the presentation, and then I will do the proclamation and present that to you. How about that?
Great.
All right. So, Britt, if you pull the microphone where you're, pull that down, the top thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Direct it to you. Just that way the people at home who are watching online can hear you.
Got it. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Councilors, for the opportunity to join you here tonight. On Friday, we kicked off Child Abuse Prevention Month in a little bit of a different fashion. We had a car parade from the Willamette Heritage Center through downtown Salem, ending at the Salem Police Department. We thought we would have about 15 to 20 cars, one from each of our organizations, and we ended up with over 75 cars that were decorated and honked our way through downtown. So it was absolutely a blast, and we've decided it is a new activity for Child Abuse Prevention Month every year. So with that, I want to get started in sharing our information for you for this year. First of all, everyone has a role in preventing child abuse. Our Child Abuse Prevention Month Committee is made up of organizations throughout Marion County that work with youth on a regular basis. We have our law enforcement agencies, Boys and Girls Club, Liberty House, the Salem YMCA, family building blocks, the Marion County Department of Human Services, Child Welfare, Options, Catholic Community Services, and Home Youth and Resource Center. So we have, and that's just to name a few, but we have them all listed, and they all play a critical role in helping to prevent child abuse each and every day. We were able to, again this year, even though we weren't able to have our kickoff event at the Capitol, we were able to partner with Salem Electric and have the blue ribbons tied in the tree at the Capitol. So now for the really sobering part of this presentation. In 2019, in the state of Oregon, there were 13,674 confirmed victims of child abuse and neglect. In Marion County alone, 1,238 were victims of child abuse and neglect. 42% of our victims were younger than 6 years old. We ask that you join us in imagining a community that focuses on prevention so we don't have to have this awareness month. And frankly, I want to be out of a job someday. I want you to think about spending time building relationships with the children that are in your lives. Take time to recognize that parents and adult mentors are critically important. And we'd ask that you take the time to learn how to talk to children about what is safe touch and to get trained to know the signs of abuse and neglect. You can support organizations that foster prevention. You can join in community efforts that put family and children first, because prevention happens when you become aware and then act. I think more than ever, we realized during the COVID pandemic the role that our educators and our instructional assistants played in helping to identify and respond to child abuse. When our schools closed, we lost the largest group of frontline mandatory reporters who had eyes on our kids. So I want to make a shout out to all of our educators for that critical role that they play. Not only our teachers, but our first responders, our parents, neighbors, and concerned adults, our medical providers, our mandatory reporters, the child abuse hotline, ODHS, our law enforcement officers, our district attorney's office. All of those entities play a critical role, and now I ask, what will each and every one of you do? This year, during the month of April, we want to paint our town blue to prevent child abuse. Wear blue, thank you, Mayor. Wear blue to show your support. Get involved by visiting the parentforthefuture.org website. Help spread the word on social media. You can follow along to any one of our organizations, and we have the tools for you to help spread the word, and partner with your local organizations, because together we can keep children safe. And again, everyone has a role in preventing child abuse, and thank you for doing your part. Mayor?
And thank you so much, Shani. You and your organization are amazing. I think we have at least one CASA in the room, do we not? Bob Parson, no, you're not? Bob Bush is usually here. He is not able to be here tonight, but I know he's one of the CASAs, and he'll be happy to tell any of you what a rewarding thing this is to do. If a person is interested in becoming a court-appointed special advocate, what is the website again, and what does the training look like?
So our website is casamarionor.org. You can also find us at the former Keizer liquor store that we remodeled. So we love the bars on the windows. It adds a little bit of charm. The training involves about 33 hours of training, and that's a combination of on an online learning platform. And right now we're having to do the in-person portion virtually. Our next class starts on April 19th, and we are full. So that is an exciting milestone for us coming out of COVID. But it's 30 hours, and then we ask that you commit 8 to 12 hours a month working on your assigned case.
Thank you very much, and I know that I'll be sharing out what you've been putting on your Facebook page, and we will all join in sharing and keeping aware, keep our children safe.
Thank you.
With that, whereas every child deserves to live in a safe, loving, and caring family environment, And whereas in 2019, there were 13,679 reported victims of child abuse and neglect in Oregon, of which 1,238 were victims in Marion County. And whereas we stand together as individuals, organizations, and government agencies to commit to preventing child abuse in our county by raising awareness throughout the community and by educating and supporting caregivers. And whereas we assert that strong families and safe, stable, and nurturing environments free from violence, abuse, and neglect are essential for children's optimal growth and success, which ensures a secure future for our communities, where the needs of children are our priority and the needs of families are met. And whereas we are thankful for the many Keizer volunteers, organizations, and service providers that work together every day to take action to support families and children and protect the well-being of our children, now therefore I, Kathy Clark, Mayor of the City of Keizer, together with the City Council assembled in regular session, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and ask all the people of Keizer to commit to continuing our efforts for protecting our children. This is for you, Shani, and this is for Keizer. Come all the way around. Keep up the good work. We really appreciate you. Shani Star, everyone. And like her, I would love to see her someday out of that job and into something else as well. So thankful for her leadership. And I'm thankful for all of our volunteers. And Daisy is, there you are, come on down. Daisy Santana Hickman is a member of the, actually you're chair, aren't you, the Volunteer Coordinating Committee?
Yeah, I was there and I still ended up being chair. I don't understand.
Oh, well. Yeah, be there or be chair.
Exactly, Keizer Way.
Yep.
Where are my cookies?
Yep.
Tracy, where are my cookies?
Up here.
Oh, back there? Okay. So, this is Volunteer Appreciation Month, and for everybody who doesn't know, all of our counselors and our mayor are volunteer. So on top of their normal day jobs, they deal with all of this. And we are extremely grateful. You guys do just yeoman's work, and this year has been really, really difficult for all of us, and particularly for our government, our local government, trying to keep us all safe and employed and, juggle everything. It's been really, really difficult, and I do not envy you guys, because I know that it feels like no matter which decision you make, you've got half the world screaming at you that it's the wrong one. But you guys have taken it with such grace and continued to do what you felt was best. And that is really all that anybody can ask of you. I know that a lot of times we don't necessarily feel that way in our representatives. We wonder about motives, and while I may not always agree with every one of you, I do know that where you're coming from is trying to create the best Keizer that we can possibly have. And so we want to thank you and let you know that you are appreciated very, very sincerely. So I'll be passing out some cookies for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And while she's doing that, I'd like to read this proclamation. Whereas a basic ingredient forming the foundation of the City of Keizer is volunteerism, upon incorporation in 1982, the motto was adopted: pride, spirit, and volunteerism. Almost every facet of our community life is supported by volunteerism. And whereas many residents of this community contribute to the well-being of fellow residents and the welfare of our neighbors in the Willamette Valley and Santiam Canyon by giving generously of their time and energy.
Proud of you.
And whereas many volunteers assist the City of Keizer in performing a multitude of duties, often providing services that would otherwise be reduced or non-existent, many of the volunteers serve in an advisory role to the City Council on our boards, commissions, and task forces. Whereas Keizer volunteers faithfully show up to help wherever there is a need. This has been especially evident in the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2020 Santiam Canyon fire, and the 2021 ice storm. And whereas the City of Keizer values every one of our many Keizer volunteers and wishes to extend our deepest appreciation to all, now therefore I, Kathy Clark, Mayor of the City of Keizer, together with the Keizer City Council assembled in regular session, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2021 as Volunteer Recognition Month, and ask all the people of Keizer to express their thanks to the many volunteers who help to continue to serve in our community. Thank you very much. I'll trade you. Thank you kindly. Years ago, we used to try to do a volunteer event and bring everybody together at the same time. And we realized that it was much easier to go where the volunteers were than ask them to do another meeting. So this is how this came about. And Daisy, I believe all of the members of the Volunteer Coordinating Committee will be visiting all the committees. Is that correct?
Yes. So we split up all the committees, and I get you guys. And so then all of the, basically what we do as Volunteer Coordinating Committee is we're the first ones to interview anybody who wants to be on a city committee. And so we try to bring forth to you guys the best candidates. Last month, we had, our meeting was actually just a roundtable for some training, because for the first time since I've ever been on the committee, all of our volunteer committees were filled, which is super awesome. Like you said, it's one of the pillars of Keizer is the volunteerism, and so it was a really exciting thing for us. Also, I really need to apologize. I meant to say happy birthday. Thank you.
Yes.
So, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Daisy. So that's what I have this evening for special orders of business. Yeah, that's the balloon. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to committee reports, and what I'd like to do first is some of the committee folks, and then we'll go to Mr. Becker and Mr. Franklin. Okay, so we'll do these first. Michelle Rowland Schwartz for the Public Arts Commission, and after her will be traffic safety with Wayne Fry.
All right, let me move this up. Madam Mayor and councilors, thanks so much for having me this evening. Michelle Rowland Schwartz, and I'm here to report or give you an update on the Keizer Public Arts Commission. Thanks to Councilor Reed at our last meeting, suggested that each of us on the commission take turns coming to you on a more regular basis to give you updates about what we're doing. And this is such a fun committee. I'm really excited to be here this evening to talk with you about some of the things that we've been doing. And so first and foremost, the thing that we've been focused on for the last several meetings is developing our master plan, really looking at what our short-term and long-term goals are. And we have a new youth committee liaison, Isabella Biondi, who is a senior at McNary High School and is quite talented. I encourage you to travel down this hallway. I believe her artwork is still up. She is featured as one of the emerging student artists, but she is going to develop some artwork to help illustrate our master plan. So it's not just a written document, but has some fun illustrations to go along with it. And really excited and so lucky to have her on the commission. At our last meeting, we had actually 9 submissions to the Keizer Holiday Card Contest, and we chose the winner for that. And I don't want to steal our Vice Chair Beth Melindy's thunder. She will present that information to you at a later date. And my understanding is the goal is to invite that artist to come and present her artwork to you all at your next the December meeting this year. So something to look forward to. And then I guess the other thing I want to mention with that is that the winner each year also receives a $100 gift card from Michaels. So much fun to present this particular artist with that. And then Debbie Lockhart sent thank you letters to all of the other artists who submitted artwork, just to acknowledge the time and effort and care that they put into submitting their artwork for consideration. So a number of exciting projects that we're working on that I am really looking forward to you all seeing in the coming future. The first is the possible installation of an eagle sculpture. We're looking at the northwest corner of Chamawa and River. And so folks are working on getting the pad and working with the property owners there to have that installed. We're also looking at doing a dedication of the 2-story poles that are right outside City Hall here. If you have not had the opportunity to go look at the detail on those story poles, it's incredible. Also, a really fun idea to install a very large Sasquatch sculpture, hopefully at Keizer Rapids Park, which will be an amazing kind of fun destination for families. And all of our Keizer residents to go and take a look at that. So that'll be a lot of fun. That was a Lori Christopher kind of idea, and we were all just running with it. It's going to be so much fun. And then last but certainly not least, we are incredibly grateful for the allotted funding that supports the Keizer Public Arts Commission and allows us to invest in artwork across the city. And we also have some projects that are going to be a larger ticket items. And so we're in the process of seeking grants to apply for to help invest in those big ideas. And then last but not least, I really want to encourage folks. We have a new artist that we're featuring this month and next, Joel Nickel. Walk through the hallways and take a look at it. It's really quite impressive. And the other thing I encourage folks to do, I did this with a learning pod, a bunch of tweens in my life. I printed the informational brochure that is on the City of Keizer website that has mostly updated sculptures and other art pieces across the city and here. And I took them on a fun little tour and promised them, boba tea and something yummy to drink. And so they were happy to go along with me, but really encourage folks, particularly with the weather getting better, to get out and take a look at all of our great artwork. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions? And I want to concur with you about come and see the new art hanging here is absolutely spectacular.
It really is.
Yeah. Thank you for your work on that. And thank you, Councilor Reed. Yes.
I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to Michelle and all of those on the Arts Commission. They are wonderfully creative people and makes for just a real exciting atmosphere of creativity. And art is how we express who we are. And so to have a Public Arts Commission is a fantastic way to do that. And also just since we only meet every other month, they won't be getting cookies. So I wanted to express my sincere appreciation that you are loved and you are appreciated. So thank you.
Oh, they will get cookies.
Oh, good. Excellent. Well, okay.
Awesome.
Of course. Thank you. I don't know why I doubt it. Thank you so much.
Yep, they will not be forgotten. Thank you. Wayne Fry.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Wayne Fry I've lived in Keizer for 6 years. I'm on the Traffic, Bikeway, Safety, Pedestrian Committee. We meet once a month. So let me just kind of review what some of our projects are. We're trying to, of course, make Keizer a safer place for traffic, for pedestrians and cyclists. I'm going to kind of hang on here. One of the projects we're working on is called Wheatland Road Multimodal Corridor. And there's a survey that's being done. The survey is available online. Currently, we've got 40 responses from this survey. And this data is being gathered by phone contacts, door-to-door contacts, business, church, and school contacts. The consultant that's working on this is planning on a more detailed survey. Don't know when it's going to come out. Another project is called Citywide Neighborhood Connectivity. And so we're trying to identify the missing links of how to connect neighborhoods. We've got one of our members, Stephen Wolf, is going to attend the West Keizer Neighborhood Association and Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association with a list of possible projects and also seeking input from the community and from the neighborhood associations. So we've asked that staff produce a large map that he can take with him when he goes to the neighborhood associations. And then if people have input, they're certainly welcome to provide that input for connectivity, connecting, how do you get through certain parts.
Love it.
We're ongoing process, but we're working on trying to get Keizer as a bicycle-friendly designation. In prior years, we've got honorable mention, and it will be this month. We plan to reapply and see if we can get better than honorable mention. We do have a Safe Routes to School coordinator, and that person's wanting to hold a bike skills fair or similar event sometimes in the fall at the community center. There's a bike repair station. There's one right out in front of this building, but there's another one that's sitting in a garage right now, and we want to find a home for it. We were looking at Kennedy Elementary and the Boys and Girls Club right in that area, but that seems to be stuck in process. So we've come up with an alternate destination. We want to put the bicycle repair station at Keizer Rapids Park. And the traffic committee approved that. We'd like to have city council take a look at it also, if you're okay with that. There's a large bike ride every year. Didn't happen last year, but it has happened 44 years already. It's the Monster Cookie Ride. It has been starting at the city capitol, going to Shampooey Park, and then coming back 62 miles. This year's going to start and finish at Keizer Rapids Park. And so they've changed the route a little bit. That'll be August 29th. There's also a mini cookie ride that'll start at Keizer Rapids Park and go to Wallace House Park and back. It's 6.2 miles.
Cute.
I might be able to do the mini cookie ride.
Yeah. That'd be more my speed right now.
That's really all I have. Our next meeting is April 15th at 6 o'clock. Any
All right.
questions?
Any questions? Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Fry, you mentioned a survey that who's generating and tabulating the results of that?
Oh, it just says the consultant. I don't know that I just don't have that data.
Okay, is that something that the Traffic Safety Bike Ped Committee is involved in, or is that just something that you're reporting on that's happening?
I'm reporting on it,
Okay, thank
so
you.
I don't know the name of the consultant.
I believe, Mr. Laurie or is Mr. Witham, one of you, this is a project that is being funded through SCATS, the Salem-Keizer Area Transportation Study, and through the city. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's correct, Madam Mayor. It is called the Wheatland Road Multimodal Corridor Study. The project encompasses looking at the corridor of Wheatland Road from River Road to Clear Lake Road. Excuse me, actually, and the consultant DKS and Associates has extended their study to the city limits. The application had the project stopping at Clear Lake, and they've extended it to the city limits. The survey that Mr. Fry referenced has now been closed. That was a virtual open house that was done, obviously because of the COVID situation, you can't do an in-person open house. That was done to primarily gain input from the community and the residents on concerns that they recognize in the corridor and things they'd like to see in design elements. Consultants have tabulated that information. We'll be working on putting it into a concept plan, and then there will be a second virtual or hopefully in-person open house to have the concept plans reviewed, looked at and commented on. That's probably going to be late summer, early fall before that happens. The results of this study is intended to bring forth a plan to build Wheatland Road. This is not a construction project. This is not a design project. It's a concept plan project. And it is slated to be completed around the end of 2021.
Thank you. And from there, we'll be able to identify projects that need to be done and then go back out for the designs and the bid for construction
Correct.
in future build years.
Yes. Once we have a concept design, we'll probably be seeking some additional SCATS funding for the actual construction. But obviously, we need to have the design or a preliminary design done to put cost estimates to then apply for that funding.
Okay, perfect. And then Monster Cookie, very excited about that. So they did make the change then to bring it to Keizer Rapids.
It was starting at the Capitol. It'll start at Keizer Rapids. They probably did that to save some of the permit fees from Salem. I don't know the reason. It's the Salem Bicycle Club sponsors it. And it's been going for many years. It's a great ride. I've done it 4 times.
Mr. Lawyer?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I met with Mr. Sangster on Friday with the application he filled out for using Keizer Rapids Park. Unfortunately, he didn't have a completed application. There's a couple other things he needs to get me. Then I will be reviewing that. We will be reviewing that and determining if it's something we're going to allow. I think we probably will. That is, of course, as long as the COVID restrictions have lessened and they're able to do that type of event in the park.
All right. We're very hopeful and looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Mr. Fry. Anything else? Okay, we're good.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, councilors, and staff. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Last but not least is the Keizer Points of Interest Report. And Robert, there you are. And Mr. Franklin. So this is a concept that was presented to KPIC.
Yes, thank you for having me here to kind of present what we're doing at the Keizer Points of Interest Committee. Bob Bush was originally supposed to be here, but as we indicated, he was not able to make it, so I was happy to kind of step in and let you know what we're doing. And after I'm finished, I would like to introduce Mr. Warren Franklin. He has what we call an enhanced visitor experience that he would like to present to the council, and hopefully that's something that you can take under consideration. The Keizer Points of Interest Committee fully supports it. So I'm happy to say, and I think Daisy mentioned this a little in her little spiel, that we are now a full committee with our most recent member, Luis Castro, who joined and became part last week at our last meeting, and he is kind of just ready to dive in. So we're very excited about that we do have a full committee at this point. So in terms of our projects, the first thing we're trying to do is we're trying to get what we call informational signage at Schoolhouse Square. Just to reiterate, as maybe some of you don't know, the original Keizer Elementary was located at what is now Schoolhouse Square, and there is no informational signage there. So Bob Bush is trying to meet with the owner to see if there's some type of informational sign that we can get up to designate that as kind of a Keizer historical spot. The next thing is unfortunately, we are not at this time able to continue with our oral history project. This is something that my kind of pet project I like to do, but given the current situation with the pandemic, I did try some Zoom and phone call interviews, and quite honestly, they just weren't the same. So I do plan to continue to do this as soon as this pandemic kind of ceases and everybody gets vaccinated, and I can really do some good in-person interviews. So I have a lot of leads lined up and I'm ready to jump in, but we're just kind of waiting for things to settle down and where everybody feels safe in doing these one-on-one interviews again. The next project we have is what we call our Longitude 123 project, and this is really kind of interesting. If you did not know, Keizer runs through longitude 123.45, and we decided that, hey, that is kind of cool. So we have been working with Robert Johnston and the Keizer Little League, because we are going to put a marker, and it's pretty much a done deal. We're just trying to get some supplies, and the cost, if not donated, is pretty minimal, to put at the front entrance to the park that will allow people to, in this day and age, take selfies with a little plaque or obelisk that says, hey, you're at longitude 123.45. So that is in the works and hopefully will be done shortly.
That's awesome. That is really cool.
Between that and the Sasquatch, we're covered for selfies, right?
We are covered for selfies. We take everything into consideration,
And the
so
peace
no
poles.
problem there. So.
Yep,
And the peace poles.
and the peace poles, yep.
The next thing we're doing is we're trying to find a marker for the Wallace House. We reached out to the Willamette River Trail designation to see if along their trail that we could post a marker. And I don't quite understand this term, they will not able to do it because they do not have, they do not have enough portage on that they would be able to place some type of marker. We are going to attempt to follow up with our own parks board and see if there's a place within our own park system that we may be able to put a marker designating the Wallace House. The next project we're working on is a compilation of Keizer memorials. Throughout Keizer and at the various parks, there is a number of memorials to people here and there, past Keizer citizens, and we really kind of took it upon ourselves to try to research those names. Who were they? Why is there a marker for them? Take pictures of that. And as we can get all that kind of completed, we like to put a brochure together that kind of says, hey, these are the people that these marks have been dedicated to, so those names and faces are not lost, that we do. And I'm also working with the Keizer, on the Keizer History Board, Keizer Heritage Foundation, so that is also very important to me, that these people who came before us are recognized, that their lives are represented, and that they're not forgotten. And kind of along those lines, we are also going through and researching the history of several of our parks that we have, because although we have names of the parks, a lot of people may not know who those people were. So we're doing a little bio of each one, submitting it for the Master Parks Plan. And right now we're working on the Bob Newton Park. I took the Chalmers Jones Park, Mike Whittam Park, Ryan J. Hill Park, and the Ben Miller Park. And so again, we're kind of just getting a little bio of who those people were. And I'm hoping even someday that we can add little signage exactly to those parks, so when people come to them, they know that who this park was dedicated after, and you know who those parks was dedicated after. Give that person a little bit more life. So I think that is what we're doing right now. Yeah, that is what I have. So is there any question before I introduce Mr. Franklin?
Any questions? Wow, you guys get so much done. It is so cool. And kind of piggybacking on what Michelle Rowland Schwartz was talking about, you know, we have our art installations and also our Keizer points of interest. I believe we have an interactive map on our website, Ms. Davis, correct? Where you can go on and you can look at the layers where it marks the art, the points of interest and so forth. So we're looking to adding more spots on there. All right. So talk to us about the Quest, was it Quest and Discovery Network?
And that I will pass off to Mr. Franklin.
All right. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here. First time here at the Keizer City Council, so it's a real pleasure to be here and to be able to share something I've been working on for, I think it was about 5 years ago I came up with this idea, and about 3 years ago I got a patent on this, so it's kind of a cool thing. And I love what I've heard about Keizer today. I mean, this is a great place to visit. You have a lot of things that could be attracting visitors to the area, some really cool ideas that you have going on, and I'd like to be able to enhance that and make that work a little bit better for you. I've been a community guy pretty much all my life. I started the Festival of Lights Holiday Parade, which turned into the Keizer Lights Parade here, which we were really thankful that we could find a home here for that event. I've emceed a lot of talent contests and a lot of different things around the community. I just take a lot of pride in doing things that hopefully can bring people to the community and make things happen. So this invention that I'm going to describe to you is just an extension to what I'm involved in. One of the things in my life is working in the broadcast industry is I've talked to a lot of organizations that are attraction-based, and the biggest problem they have is attracting people, and the other one is generating revenue. And my invention does both of those. So I'm really excited about it. I call it the Quest and Discovery Network. It's a part of an app I call Enhanced Visitor Experience. I originally put it together for museums, gardens, different kinds of organizations where we can expand and enhance the information that you can see at the exhibits. So Literally, you take my app, you open up the location, which I'll show you in just a second. You open up the exhibit, and you can see pictures, video, written material, audio can be played there, so there's a lot of things there. But when it's all what I call beacon-based technology. It's a little beacon that just looks like this, not very big. And all it's really doing is just flashing out a number. In this case, it's 2004. That's all it's doing. But up in the cloud, you have information that's related to that exhibit where you've placed the beacon, and when you open it up, you will see the information that has been put in there. So I'll open it up and show it to you real quick. I built it in a way where there would be a directory. I could have come to every organization with my invention and said to you, buy an app, I'll build it for you, and I'll charge you like $60,000, $70,000 or more to do that, because that's what it costs, a lot of money to build these things. But instead, I decided to build an app and then allow all the members to have essentially an app within the app. And it makes it more affordable for you and be able to do it. And the other cool thing is that it becomes a directory. And that's why I call it a network, because all the participating members are listed in here. And you'll notice that there's two things when you open it up. On there it says either quest or tour. For a museum that isn't a part of the quest, they are just simply a tour, a self-guided tour that they can take for their organization. But on a quest, the whole idea is about doing something fun in a community where you can go to a park, or you can go to one of your 8 places that you have points of interest right now, or other locations, even sponsor locations if you want to do that. And people can go on a quest, spend an afternoon in Keizer having a fun time learning and seeing things about Keizer. And when they get done, they can receive a collector magnet that's specifically for the location. If you do it, or whether you have the chamber or some other organization do this, what is really cool about this is that they can actually add other prizes to it too if they want to, for drawings and different kinds of things. So when you first open it up, you're going to just see the 4 closest locations that are available. But if you tap on the little spyglass on the bottom, you'll see that there's more organizations involved. Right now, I'm just getting started. This is, I have 4 quest locations set up right now. Monmouth, Dallas, Silverton, and Powerland Heritage Park are participating. Love to have Keizer be a part of it too. One of the museums that is just about completely built out is B17 Alliance, and I'll show you how this works. When you open up the B17 Alliance or any other location, you get an About page. And the About page is kind of like a home page, and it's just telling you a little bit about the organization. You can include pictures, and really what I'm telling people that participate in the quest is give a good reason why you should come and visit. Tell people what it's all about. There's also an area for promotions, so you can see unlimited promotions. So you have the Harvest Festival going on, you got the parade. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on in the community. So you can have unlimited promotions, and anybody that's downloaded the app, whether they're from Monmouth or wherever it's been over the years, I'm anticipating there could be hundreds of thousands of people using this thing. Those people can all see your promotions and what you have going on, and hopefully it'll be a reason to come to Keizer and visit. There's contact information, so whoever's running this can announce, times that's going on. You have questions about it. It can be all kinds of questions, different kinds of things that can be answered right there. You'll notice down the bottom it says exhibits. She's tap on that. And I've got it set up so that all the exhibits are showing on my phone, because I'm one of the guys developing all of this. Normally what would happen is these beacons send out a signal that has a radius of about 25 feet. So the idea is when you go on the quest, they're looking for the beacon signal so they can receive the information and answer the questions and do whatever is a part of that quest. But if you open it up and you tap on any one of the exhibits, you can see in here that they have pictures. They can do video. We can't play it here, but there's actually audio on this so people can walk around. One of the things I hate when I go to a museum, for example, anywhere, is that I have to read everything. And I would rather have somebody telling me about it than reading it, because I get a headache about halfway through the museum just doing that. So the audio can be on here, and people can have a lot of fun doing this. So the idea is to create something that is part of a community that's fun for everybody to be able to participate in. What does it cost to get involved? That's a good question. Actually, I'm bringing it to the city of Keizer, very little investment. I will put the whole system in, the beacons and everything else at no charge. Do it at no charge, which is crazy because I've spent a lot of money doing this. But I want to get it started, and I'm willing to work with you. The only investment that you have is purchasing the magnets and making sure the magnets are all there. That can cost, depending on the size of the magnet and everything, for about 500 of them, $350, $400. And then keep the batteries up to date on the beacons. And if you do, you have a dozen beacons or something, it'll cost you $20, $30 a year to maintain the beacons and keep the batteries up. And of course, keep all of your information up on the system that goes with it all. It's kind of crazy that I'm actually doing that because I think a lot of people come in and want $500, $600 to get it all set up, or maybe more. But I'm willing to bring it to you. I've offered it. It's the same thing going on at Monmouth and Dallas and Powerland and Silverton. But if I can get 5 or 6 locations going, this will start May 1st. Now, Keizer doesn't have to be in May 1st, but the other 4 locations will be going May 1st. Promos begin at KYKN Wednesday. Just teaser ads, getting it going and everything. But I'm serious about getting this built out, and this is a first year just to work out the technical problems, make sure it really works, and then my goal is to really go big with this. There's a good chance Marion County Fair will do it this year if there's a fair, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed so we can get a couple other fairs this year if they're operating. Any questions?
Oh, this is fascinating. Thank you. Just a couple of questions. One on those magnets. When I got the report that this was being recommended by KPIC, I got a hold of the principal at McNary High School, Eric Jesperson, because they have a business marketing and design career technical center there. And I was wondering if this might be something where we can partner with the students there who are doing that kind of work.
And so let me just mention, Kathy, I didn't mention this. There's a $3.99 in-app purchase to see the information, to be on the quest. And I give $1 to the participating organization for each app that's downloaded. So there is the potential, if we can get 3,000, 4,000 people or more to download the app, plus they can sell advertising and they can generate extra revenue there, and I'm not looking for any of that money. So it could end up being a $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000 income generator for an organization like that to participate.
That would help perhaps sponsor the program within the high school, or also help with Keizer Points of Interest with continuing to maintain that project. So I am very intrigued. What do you all think? Thoughts? All right. So I did make a email to Eric Jesperson. He's interested. He's talking to the teachers that run those programs. So what I'd like to do with, whose points of interest? Councilor Herrera. So was thinking of contacting with the high school and see if there's a possibility of a partnership with KPIC and the high school to bring back a proposal. What do you think?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Have you had direct contact or just sent an email to?
I contacted Mr. Jesperson, yes, and he was going to meet, he was intrigued, and he was going to talk to the teachers that run those programs.
Okay, I can follow up because I'm actually going to be meeting with Mr. Jesperson.
Okay.
And I'll just inquire where we're at on that. But that sounds like a good idea.
I'll forward the
I was
email I
also
got
intrigued.
back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, that sounds good. So I know there's no way we can make the May 1 deadline, just
No.
for the launch.
No. But you can come in as the opportunity arises
Okay.
for you.
So, Mr. Wood, do you see a problem with looking at putting together a proposal?
I think I could work with Mr. Wall and put this together, yes.
Okay, sounds good. I'm looking at City Attorney.
I'll work with Mr. Wood on some details.
Okay, that sounds like a great opportunity. Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One more thing. Nice to see you again, Warren. The total startups cost is, you said something about 350 for the...
Yeah, depending on the size of the magnet, I found a company that does a postcard size magnet, and it's about 40 cents if you do 500 to 1,000 postcards. And I anticipate we're going to go through that anyway.
Is there...
And then the beacons themselves are, the batteries are like $1, $1.50 each, something like that.
And to follow up, I'm sure you mentioned this, but is there like some kind of marketing to let folks know you're putting something in the...
Well, we're going to start advertising on KYKN beginning Wednesday, just teasers. And we'll be doing a big kickoff. I'm planning press releases coming out. I'm working with Lewis Media Group, so we'll be doing some things for them.
You know a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been around that a little
40
bit.
years or how many, 45 years, how many years?
In broadcast?
Yeah.
Should I really admit it? Over 50.
He started as a child.
Yeah, I started when I was like 6.
Those little play microphones.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I think this is very exciting opportunity, very creative, and I think a partnership with the high school. The students are amazingly talented, as we often see with the displays here and the other work they're doing. So I think this could be a triple win.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to us. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Kate.
My pleasure. I'm excited. I'd love to have it here in the city of Keizer.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So look forward to a follow-up on that, Councilor Herrera and Mr. Wood. Okay, fabulous. This takes us now to public testimony. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have one public hearing scheduled tonight, and that is for the Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel Liquor License application. So if you're here for that, stand by, and we'll get to you. But right now, we are going to public comment. To remind people who are coming to address council, it is your turn to talk. You have up to 5 minutes. It's our turn to listen. We will ask clarifying questions only. And if we need additional information, I will refer to the staff for that information. I ask that you address the chair, me, and comments impugning the character or motivations of councilors, staff, or community members are out of order and will not be permitted. Distractions take away from the speaker. We ask the audience and council members to be respectfully quiet so we can concentrate on the speaker. And if an issue does need to be addressed by staff, we will then give direction to staff to come back with a report and next steps if necessary. So with that, I'd like to start off with Ms. Parsons. Come on down, and on deck is Mr. Rodriguez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, and City staff. First off, I want to thank, Marlene Parsons, City of Keizer. Sorry, I should have known that. I'm bad. First off, I want to thank Bill Lawyer and the Public Works staff for putting down the reflectors on River Road. I can actually see now the lanes and stay in it, so I don't get in trouble by Chief Teague's officers for going all over the place. Secondly, Kathy, happy birthday. I hope that you take time for yourself to celebrate, because this is a big one for you.
Thank you.
Shall I tell them?
Why not? It's every single...
65.
65.
She made it. My purpose tonight is to let you know that I support your decisions going forward. I know that running a city cannot be taken lightly, and the staff here are amazing and will continue to be amazing during this transition. Any decisions that you make will be in the best interest of Keizer and its 40,000 citizens. You don't get thanked enough for all the work that all of you do with no pay. I know sometimes it can be frustrating, but you listen and you let that process work. The loss of Chris will be felt by many of you, but he established a good foundation by which can be built on by the next city manager. Thank you for giving Chris his severance package, because I think it could have been worse. I understand we had a leak, and a leak really hurt his due process. But I have faith in you as councilors, and I have faith in the city staff. Keizer will continue to flourish and change, and it'll be a great city for all the residents to enjoy. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. And I also want to thank you for your years of service on the city council on this side of it, and putting
really
in tremendous
here.
effort. So
Thank you.
You made a huge difference. Any questions, Councilor Herrera?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to thank you. Thanks again. I told you once, but thank you for your words, and I agree with you 100%. And I also want to thank you for my early years here for you guiding me and keeping me in line.
That was hard, Roland, but
But no, seriously.
probably the
you know,
hardest job I ever had.
Seriously, I mean, that was a hard process, and we have to move forward, and I just thank you for your patience and stuff, and I hope we all take the high road and move forward in a positive way. 'Cause
I hope so too.
It's hard, but we're a city, and we're gonna pull together. I know we are.
We will.
Thank you.
It's Keizer strong. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rodriguez? And on deck is Courtney Clendenning.
Good evening and happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'd like to talk about the general manager, Chris Epley situation for just a minute. And just as a review for those that might be watching on historical videotapes or at home live now. Your city manager negligently discharged his firearm in this city hall office in early March, right here in this building. Why was he not immediately terminated? You responded immediately to the wildfires last year. Why did you not act immediately to terminate the general manager? Instead, he was given a golden parachute, 6 months paid vacation, and a year's worth of health care coverage for him and his family. Near as I can tell, there was no reprimand, only golden parachute. What does that tell city staff? Bringing a gun to work has no consequences. Discharging a gun here in City Hall has no consequences. I have little doubt if a public works employee or a utilities clerk brought a gun to work here in this building, they would be immediately fired, and rightly so. I also have little doubt if a public works employee or a utilities clerk, for instance, discharged a gun here in this building, they would be immediately fired, and rightly so. The lesson I take from this is that a well-paid white man gets a free pass from one of the most egregious infractions of city policy. Now, who is responsible for this golden parachute and not having any consequences for the gun going off inside this building? Ms. Mayor, I have watched and attended many meetings and have seen you as the cornerstone of decisions by the council. I believe you and the council have the authority and the responsibility to uphold the city's policies, protect the safety of city staff, and the safety of the public. A golden parachute does not measure up to this responsibility. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Ms. Clendenning? I have no questions. I have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is this close enough?
Pull it down a little bit so the audio on the television can hear you. And just start off with your name and your city of residence.
Yep. Courtney Clendenning, Keizer, Oregon. Madam Mayor, Councilor President Smith, councilors. I stand before you today with my purple hair and my Black Lives Matter shirt with my Pride Ally button. And I can't help but wonder if any judgment has been made about why I'm here or what I have to say. It's okay if it was. It's natural to have an initial reaction when we see people. We all do it. It's called implicit bias, an unconsciously held set of associations about a group.
Implicit biases are a product of learned associations and social conditioning. The place where implicit bias gets us into trouble is what happens after that initial thought. It's important for us to pause and ask ourselves, why did we make a judgment so quickly? It's likely a result of social conditioning or learned associations or previous experiences. Next, now what? What do we do after that initial thought? What action will be taken based on that initial reaction that we have? So when I came up here, it's possible you had a moment thinking, oh great, she's here to accuse me of something. I'm not. Maybe you thought you didn't want to listen to me because I only came to complain. That's not why I'm here either. What I'm hoping that you will do is, despite what you see, listen thoughtfully with an open mind to what I have to say. I am here today to respectfully ask for accountability. I could have chosen to send an email, but I believe standing before you holds far more power than electronic communication. It makes me a real person, a human with emotions and passion, where maybe, just maybe, you can see my genuine care for this city and its residents. Some of you know that I'm a teacher in this community, and I have been for the last 20 years. That means I've taught approximately 500 Keizer youth and worked with nearly that many families, including your kiddos. One thing I know as a teacher is that when I start teaching each year with a new set of students, I have a responsibility to create a safe and welcoming classroom environment. I spend the first few weeks of school working to build that community. We get to know each other. We talk about how we are alike, how we are different, and how the most important thing in our classroom community is being respectful and kind. I teach my students that we don't have to agree. We don't have to all be friends, but we do need to treat each other with respect. As a classroom community, when things go wrong, we work to resolve what has happened. In a classroom, if students don't feel safe or valued, I know they cannot learn. As I've recently become more involved in local happenings, I have watched city council meetings and work sessions, both in person and online. I've talked to community members, read numerous newspaper articles, letters to the editor, and social media posts from varying points of view. It has become evident to me that our community is not operating within a safe and welcoming environment. Both sides are feeling attacked. I'm not here to get into the weeds of any of that. It's not productive and it's not good for my own mental health. But some members of our community, regardless of what side they are on, don't feel safe to speak up or show up. Back in December, the council adopted a value statement. It was a step forward. I've long lived by the belief that actions speak louder than words. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the city webpage to find that statement, and it was nowhere to be found. However, tonight, I am excited to be able to say that I found it. And I want to thank you for not only putting it on the webpage, but also having the moving banner that made it really obvious to find. So I'm excited for that celebration. Before I continue, I do want to pose some questions just for you to think about regarding that value statement. What is the city's plan moving forward to create a truly inclusive city? Do we have anything on City Hall that lets LGBTQIA folks know that this is a safe and welcoming place for them? Has council considered a welcoming team that welcomes new people to city meetings at their very first point of entry, like the very front doors? Has council considered offering childcare so more of the community can attend meetings? We must have some youth that could use some volunteer hours. What else can you as city leadership do to show Keizer does welcome all? In looking at the work plan in tonight's agenda packets, presented as a conversation starter for upcoming work, it's easy to see as a council you have a myriad of responsibilities that require your time and attention. So here is where my ask for accountability comes. In looking at neighboring cities, either online or personally connecting with people, I have found that Beaverton has a Human Rights Advisory Commission. Woodburn has a Global Inclusion Advisory Committee. City of Salem has a Human Rights Commission, and I could go on.
Thank you.
I'll send you the rest.
All right, if you, hang on. First of all, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
We were both host parents for volcanoes, so. Anyway, thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts in a very thoughtful way. Appreciate that. And definitely give, if you kind of email that in its entirety to Ms. Davis.
Yep, I will.
And she and Ms. Lockhart were the ones responsible for making sure that the statement ended up where it needed to be on the website. So I think somebody asked me for that, or no, you did. Anyway, so that got taken care of. Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Courtney, thank you very much. And I just want to thank you for all the work you do. And I know nobody knows this, but all the work you do with the homeless, that's amazing. And all your community service that goes under the radar, you don't mention it, you and your group, it's just been wonderful. And I'm glad just a little part of it. So, by the way, did you get those boxes I sent over?
I did. There's so many.
Well, anyway, people don't know this, but this young lady here in our community does a lot of work every day before and after school with the homeless. And you go to her house, look at her car, it's always full of clothes and stuff. And I just want people to know that there's a lot of folks that do your work, and you're really brave to come up here and speak from your heart how you feel. And you're also my next door neighbor, little George's teacher, so he loves you. But thank you very much for having the grace to explain yourself and speak out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other, Council President Smith?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you so much for your testimony. I really appreciate it more than you know, and I do agree with you. We've got some major issues going on out there. I watch social media, I watch the comments, and I watch the division, and it gets pretty ugly on both sides. It really does, and I appreciate and respect the fact that you brought that up. I also want to go back, because I believe you were in the meetings when we started talking about that, and wanted to let you know I'm actually meeting with the mayor of Albany on Wednesday, Alex Johnson, to discuss what they've set up, which is that Citizen Advisory Committee, so that I can start to glean some information to come back and bring to that first work group session for that council goal. So I would love to see the additional items and ideas that you have, so please do send us a follow-up email with that. I appreciate you coming in and talking.
You bet. The email that I'm sending has some attachments to some of the other places that I
Awesome.
mentioned as well.
Thank you
which I'm
so
sure
much.
you've researched.
Yeah, I appreciate all the information we can get. Thank you so much.
All right. Other questions? All right, thank you so much. Carol Dorfler. Oh, yeah. Watch the little marker there.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, councilors, and staff. Madam Mayor and councilors, last Thursday evening, you made probably the hardest decision you have ever had to make in your private and professional lives. And I just want to thank you publicly for doing the right thing. And we can talk about issues and transparencies at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Dorfler? And West Keizer Neighbor Association is meeting. Yeah, I'm going to give you a chance for a plug.
Thursday. Thursday. It's our first meeting since October, in person, in the lobby. Unfortunately, we won't have cookies because we don't want people, sorry, I'm so sorry. We don't want people gathering around cookies. So neighbors, if you hear me, come on out. We have a lot of catching up to do. And Mayor Clark is going to be our guest speaker.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
you, Carol. Oh, and thank you for you and Carolyn planting the flowers around Cummings Elementary. It looks really nice.
Carol Phipps was responsible for that this year. She's our vice president. My almost 80-year-old back just won't do it anymore. So thank God I recruited somebody younger than I am to help me do that.
That's what we have to do. Thank you, Carol.
Thanks.
And thank you, Carol Phipps, for planting the flowers.
Oh, and happy birthday.
Thank you. That is all I have signed up for public testimony. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time? If not, I want to acknowledge the letters that will go into the records. A written comment that has been received since March 17th will be put into the record and acknowledged by name and title. We do not read them into the record here, but we do make sure that they are published. And again, if there's an issue that needs to be addressed by staff or then they do that as a follow-up. So we have from LaTanya Gibbs, A resident of Keizer, a new city manager is necessary. We have from, I'm trying to get the name off of this one. Oh, Kim Martin, resident of Keizer, city manager, Chris Hepley. And from this one, from Jackie Moyer, letters regarding the CM, which means city manager, a resident of Keizer. One from Martin Dorfler, a resident of Keizer, Hepley preoccupation. And a letter from Dylan Duran, resident of Keizer, subject city manager. So those will be all added into the record. There. All right, that takes us then to public hearings. I'd like to open a public hearing on the Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel liquor license application. City Manager Pro Tem, Mr. Wood.
Madam Mayor, City Council, on March 4th, 2021, the city received an application for a new liquor license for Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel located at 5188 Wittenberg Lane, Northeast Keizer. The application is for a full on-premise license. As required by Keizer ordinance, a public hearing was scheduled. Notice was published and mailed to all property owners within 200 feet of the establishment. The Keizer Police Department reports a clear background check on the applicants and has no reason to recommend denial of the application. In addition, the Keizer Planning Department finds the location of the establishment to be properly zoned and has no additional comment on the application. It is recommended that the public hearing be open to allow testimony from the applicant or other interested individuals, and upon completion, the hearing be closed. It is further recommended the council recommend approval of the application for Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer. This recommendation shall then be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval. With that, if you have any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? Anybody? All right. Seeing none, I don't have anybody signed up for a public hearing, but I understand the applicant is here. Is that correct? Well, come on down, just introduce yourself. Again, it's a chance for a plug. Also love to hear what's happening over at what is now Best Western. When did this happen? When did opening? All that good stuff. And please, if you just state your name and your city of residence for the record and tell us all about it.
Sure. I'm Caitlin Garand. I actually am a resident of Keizer as well. I'm the general manager of what will be the Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel. We are currently closed right now for renovations, and we're really excited to be reopened. We're opening hopefully mid-May in time for the summer tourism. So we're really excited. It's a complete renovation top to bottom, brand new everything, and we're just really excited about it.
Wonderful. So will the restaurant be in the same location? I was trying to tell from the map, or is it moving?
No, it's in the same location. It'll be kind of like our lobby is going to be a lot more open, and the bar and restaurant will be over to the side across from the front desk. And then the breakfast area will be there as well.
Well, wonderful. And it's the same number of rooms, is just renovating the whole thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. So if people want to know more, do you have a website for the hotel yet?
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't know it off the top of my head, but if you go to thebestwestern.com and you can type in Keizer, Oregon as your destination, it'll pop up with all of our details and stuff.
Wonderful. And anybody else have any questions? Councilor Herrera.
I just have a quick comment. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So now you have an indoor pool, right?
Yes, sir. I think we've always had an indoor pool. It got shut down right before I started as the general manager a couple years ago. But it's being redone and will be reopened as a brand new pool with a jacuzzi hot tub as well.
I like the big cover in front too. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a really nice, they put some big windows up there. It'll be really
welcome.
pretty.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, looking forward to the renovation being done and up and open for business, and hopefully we can get Marion County dropped in our risk level so you can have even more guests.
That's what we're hoping for.
All right, we'll do our part and help you succeed there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Anyone else want to address the council on this matter? Seeing none. Any other questions from council before I close the public hearing? Okay, public hearing is closed. Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council recommend approval of the application for Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer. This recommendation shall then be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council recommend approval of the application by Best Western Premier Keizer Salem Hotel under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer, that this recommendation be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Fantastic. All right, that takes us now to administrative action, item 8A, which is resolution adoption of the 2021-2022 City Council goals. City Manager Pro Tem, Mr. Wood.
Madam Mayor Clark and City Council, on January 11th, 2021, the City Council met in a work session to formulate a list of short and long-term goals for the city to work on for the 2021-2022 biennium. By definition, a short-term goal is one that is anticipated to be accomplished in 24 months or less, while a long-term goal is anticipated to take longer than 24 months to complete. The council goals identified during the work session are included in the attached resolution. At the work session, the City Council worked on a draft work plan, which is attached to this report as well. Staff recommends the council review the proposed short and long-term goals for the 2021-22 and approve the attached resolution adopting the City Council goals. With that, any questions?
All right, any questions? We've had this document a few times, and you got the version showing the edits. My only question is, obviously, over the next 2 years, we are going to be also engaging in the process for recruiting and hiring a new city manager for the City of Keizer, and this is no small task, both for the council and for the senior, actually the entire staff for the city. So I believe that it would be appropriate to make a mention in here. I mean, it's something we have to do. You could say it's kind of by default, but I think it's important to state it. So we keep in front of us that this is going to be a very important project for both the council and the staff. So I would like to add that recommendation that under the goals and work plans, since this is a joint effort on the part of the council and staff to recruit and hire the new city manager for Keizer. Thoughts? Yes, no, maybe so?
Let's do it.
All right. So my recommendation then is to add, and this is going to be, instead of goals or work plan, it's going to be a joint goal and work plan item to recruit and hire the permanent city manager for Keizer.
In the short-term goals, obviously.
Yes, in the short term, yes.
Thank you.
Definitely. Recruit and hire.
2 months, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
please make that short term.
Yeah, definitely. Tim's going, yes, please. We're asking him to shoulder a very large burden, and we're happy he's willing to do it with the support of the entire department head team and the staff of the City of Keizer, but this is not something that you would ever want anybody to do both those jobs at the same time, not for the long term. Ask Renata Wakely. She spent a whole year, it turned out. That's not how it was planned, but at the Willamette Valley Council of Governments, about the time we were starting the recruitment using a hiring firm to hire the new director for the COG, COVID hit. So what was going to be about 2 or 3 months turned into almost a year. and God bless her, she and the staff came together and were magnificent. Her area is also finance, and she was doing small business administration loans that were critical for the survival of our businesses here in the Willamette Valley. So hopefully she's taking a breather now. She did a magnificent job. So that was as an aside. Okay, any other additions, corrections, comments on the plan? Mr. Johnson.
So I added a bullet point in the resolution, as you stated, for the goals, recruit and hire a permanent city manager on the short-term goals. I added a bullet point to that, which we'll put in the final resolution. The work plan is just for your information. It wasn't, unless council wants to do something different, it wasn't part of the resolution and it's not being formally adopted. It's sort of an informal thing. So if you, and I'm not sure that's how you wanted to do it, but that's how the staff report came out. So I just wanted to point that out. If there was any reason you wanted to formally adopt the work plan, that would be a separate motion. As it is, it's sort of an informal discussion as far as how you want to approach the goals. So.
This is my bad. I didn't read all the way through. Actually, I had expected it to be a resolution. So what are your thoughts?
Madam Mayor,
Councilor Day?
there is a resolution in here.
The resolution only has the goals.
Doesn't have the work plan.
And
is it referenced though?
it's referenced in the staff report.
But it's not referenced in the resolution. And I know that our council rules and procedures talk specifically about goals. I get that. But we put a lot of time and effort into identifying the work plan, which is a commitment on our part. We understand that we are committed to, actually we're committing all y'all to the goals. But I really felt that our conversation was that we were committing ourselves to certain areas of work as well. So we can take this up at the next council meeting and adopt the work plan, or we can do it now by additional resolution. Is there a preference on part of council? Councilor Day.
While I understand the value of the work plan itself, I'm a little hesitant to adopt something that has legal authority binding us to a particular course of action. That's a little bit, I'd have to really think that one through if that's what we really want to do. Or I think that the listing of the short-term and long-term goals coupled with this document that we have here that tells how we're going to achieve those goals, I think that from my perspective, that's sufficient. I hate to put something in a resolution or an ordinance or order or whatever we do that says, here's how we're going to do this, because things may change.
Oh, they never change. I'm going to go to Mr. Johnson and then I'll go to you, Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wanted to follow up on Councilor Day's, and I believe that was Mr. Epley's thought also. And it may have been a miscommunication between he and you, Madam Mayor, between Mr. Epley and you before he left on the exact nature of the work plan. He felt it was more along the lines of kind of an informal working document that the council obviously have before them, but we're not formally adopting. But it's totally up to the council on how you want to handle that.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My understanding is the reasoning for parsing this out into goals versus work plan is to take the things that, normally these two are together, right? And so we had in our work plan some things that we wanted the city staff to do that really it was not their business to do, that was really more our business to do. And so I think it needs to be more formalized because these are our goals. You know, we're talking about a work plan, but it's no less of a commitment. And this, as with any goals, you don't commit to achieve the goals, but you commit to work on those goals. And I think that needs to be part of what we're doing here.
Thank you. Other thoughts? So what I'd like to do, because this one isn't prepared, and give us some time to think about it between now and the next council meeting, be thinking about what that level of commitment is. I do concur with Councilor Reed that we need to put something in writing that says this is what we are committing ourselves to work toward. I mean, obviously, if we don't get everything done or there are some changes, there's some flexibility in that. But it is something that we worked hard to say, these are the things, the objectives we have in front of us, and we want to keep focused on those things. Plus, there may be some staff time, and one of them is already underway. It has involved some significant staff time, and that was our update of the council rules and procedures. So that's already, that I think gives us some impetus to have conversation with the city manager and staff on what resources would be appropriate to put toward them. So be thinking about that. I'm good with us waiting until the 19th to come back with a resolution regarding the work plan. But definitely get your ideas to either Council President Smith or to me, and then we can compile that and work with Mr. Wood and Mr. Johnson on a resolution if that is deemed to be the most effective way of getting our commitment out there. What do you think? Yes, no, maybe so? I'm getting a head nod. Good? Thinking about it? All right. Good? Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree here with what both of you are saying. I also understand what Councilor Day is saying, so we're going to have to do a little bit of wordsmithing to make sure we're not painting ourselves into a corner, but yet making the commitment. Because 2 years ago when I came on council and we set council goals, it was like, here's our goals, and then we assigned it off to have everybody else do it, which threw me off, because I'm like, if I want to lose weight, I have to go run, not ask Dan to do it for me. So, I do think we need to have.
I'd be willing to help you.
Okay, well, I'm not running anytime soon. I still got that broken foot thing. But my point being is that it would be nice to have some formal, here's what the council is working on versus just assigning it always back off to the staff. So I don't know exactly how to do that, but that was the idea that I had behind it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilor Reed. Just thank you, Madam Mayor. Furthermore, that work plan and the goals reflect our values as a council, and I think it's important to have that committed to as well.
I agree. And I think this is an important statement to the community about where we believe that, our part of the bargain is going to be directing our energies as well and building off the really good work that we know that the city staff is doing. But we put this together more as a partnership, partner documents. You have the goals and you have the work plan. They're not in opposition. They, I hope, are very much in alignment, that one benefits the other. And that's why we put those together, that we're going to be moving the whole team down the field, not just the offense or defense, but the whole thing. So that's the thought behind it. So I think it's going to be crafting this in a way, to Councilor Day's point, is that we are expressing our values, we're expressing the plan, that the work that we intend to undertake, understanding, and boy, don't we know it, in the last year, life happens. And we will pivot as necessary. Okay? All right, so let's move ahead then with the council goals, with the additional one for the recruitment and hiring of the next city manager.
Madam Mayor.
Councilor Day.
Thank you. I'm just reading the council rules of procedure here. I don't care one way or the other how we do it, but it does say that we have to adopt no later than the second regular session. So we don't, if we don't have to adopt these today, we can send them back and then with all the corrections and additions and everything else, we can adopt it on the 19th.
That is a true statement. Mr. Johnson?
Either way, Madam Mayor, you could adopt the resolution as written with one additional bullet point tonight and then adopt a separate resolution for the work plan if you wish, or you can just wait and combine them. Either way is fine.
Okay. Is there a preference? No preference?
I would prefer to combine them and do it all at once, and I think that's cleaner.
I would too.
Okay. Do a one and done?
Yeah.
All right. So we're getting concurrence that we'd like to do a one and done, so we'd like to, I don't know what the proper word is, but we'll not do this tonight, and we will do it on the 19th. Whatever the word is, that's what we're doing. With those additions, corrections, table, postpone, whatever the,
Oh, don't say table to.
no tables.
Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
Madam
No
Mayor,
tables, chairs,
it
or
requires
other
no
things.
action.
Okay,
So, I mean, the direction of the council is not to vote on it tonight. You don't need to take any formal action.
all right. Thank you very much. And that takes us to item 8B, which is resolution creating a dedicated fund in memory of Carrie Emery Coleman for the benefit of Keizer Youth Pure Court. City Manager Pro Tem, Mr. Wood.
Madam Mayor, City Council, this is a follow-up from the March 1st, 2021 regular City Council meeting. At that meeting, the City Council authorized myself and the City Attorney to put together a process to make this happen. We've identified that we would like to adopt a formal resolution to create the dedicated fund, then go out and create a crowd-based social media type fundraising account. Unfortunately, the city's current credit card providers are unable to do something in an easily friendly user type of manner, so we're going to look elsewhere for that. Then we'll go ahead and create a new fund and set of dedicated accounts in the city's financial system, and then we'll communicate, advertise, get the word out, and then we'll report back the results of that through the budget and the audit process with, in combination with all the rest of our city accounts. At this point, I would recommend that City Council adopt the attached resolution directing the finance director to take actions to create a dedicated fund and collect donations in memory of Carrie Emery Coleman for the benefit of Keizer Youth Pure Court. And with that, is there any questions?
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report or the resolution? Seeing none, Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, creating a dedicated fund in memory of Carrie Emery Coleman for the benefit of Keizer Youth Pure Court.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, creating a dedicated fund in memory of Carrie Emery Coleman for the benefit of the Keizer Youth Pure Court. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8C is the 2021-2022 City of Keizer budget meetings. City Manager Pro Tem.
I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Shannon Johnson, City Attorney.
Thank you, Tim, Madam Mayor and Council. Another virtual meeting decision, and unfortunately, it's my fault. I was supposed to do this last meeting, and I got it mixed up. So it wasn't clear, although we talked about the long-range task force, the actual budget committee meetings, it was pretty clear what we were going to do because of the number of people, but we didn't actually have a motion on it. So the recommendation, due to the number of people involved, is that we do it like last year, and the motion would be to hold the budget committee meetings, as you can see the dates in the staff report, virtually. And so that is the recommendation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? All right, seeing none, Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt a minute motion to hold the 2021 Budget Committee meetings virtually.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt this motion to hold the 2021 Budget Committee meetings virtually. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
All right, motion passes 6-1. The no is Councilor Day.
No. Counselor Kohler.
Kohler, my bad. Sorry, I can't tell with your mask. I heard that direction. Okay. And that takes us then to the consent calendar. Council President Smith, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Yes, the consent calendar. Item A, Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association Annual Report, request for extension of time. And B, approval of March 15th, 2021 regular session minutes.
Second?
Okay, but there were no polls, correct? All right, it's been moved and seconded?
I didn't actually move it.
Okay,
I just
well,
read
move
them.
it. All right.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Oh, sorry. Second. Sorry. That was my fault.
All right, the consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Council liaison reports. Councilor Day, can I start with you tonight?
Sure, it'll be short and sweet. I have nothing to report since my committee reported earlier today, so.
All right, thank you very much. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just have a couple of things. I got to attend a meeting called Food for Thought on the 31st that was held at Valor, the old Town and Country Lanes location. It was a pretty interesting meeting, a lot of very informed and powerful people. It was really a neat thing to do. So I feel very fortunate to be able to do that. I would like to commend Mr. Wood for being willing to step up and be our pro tem city manager, and let him know that anything I can do to help him, please call. Willing to do that. March was Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and I hope that all of you have had your colonoscopies, because colon cancer is something that can be prevented. And just a real quick brag, my son Hiram has arranged a piece that his quartet will play to a worldwide broadcast tomorrow morning.
That is so exciting. I can't wait to hear it.
Way cool.
I know, that is very cool. Well, you know, another one of our world-class musicians from the Salem Keizer School District, right? There we go again. World-class
Happy birthday.
results. All right, thank you very much. Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I want to say shout out to our first citizen in attendance tonight, Kim Freeman. Well-deserved, and just had to say it, Kim, sorry. I attended a whole bunch of Zooms, 9 altogether, with LOC and points of interest, which are represented a great job, Mr. Anderson. And my OAN, which is Oregon Latinx Leadership Network, we've been doing some great work, and we've had Mark from the Keizer Chamber join us, and that's been really. And March 31st was Cesar Chavez's birthday, and happened to be my mom's birthday too, by the way. And it was a day of service, and what we usually do is do some service at one of our local parks. Guess which one? I wanted to recognize Kira Johnson, who, I don't know if you read the article on the Little Miss Petite. Yeah. She has got a wonderful message and wonderful story. McNary High School student. She's vying for the 2021 Miss Petite Ambassador, and her story is she's using her platform to educate folks about the drug abuse and mostly opioids. And her family story is amazing, and I just wanted to congratulate her for that effort. Also, Joe and Marty Edgel, former employee Joe Edgel, my mentor here, is recovered from COVID, and he's out of the hospital, and he's doing really good now. And both of them had it, by the way, and they're doing very well. As far as child abuse, Shani was talking earlier, and I just wanted to mention when the pandemic hit, the first thing I thought about is some of the kids that I mentor, and I really worried about them because it was their safe spot was at Kennedy, and so that was the biggest thing. And the great work that Shani does, and I wish I could do more into helping that away, but we're all too busy. And the last thing I want to say is that, those story polls somebody taught, if anybody takes the time to go look at those, they're amazing. I mean, they're very intricate and unbelievable. But and of course, the last thing I want to say is happy birthday. guys, Q, Q.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have anything to report on in the last couple of weeks, but I am very much looking forward to our very first West Keizer Neighborhood Association meeting. I have yet to be there, so that's going to be fun. I'm excited I get to attend it with you. And we also have the Commissioner's Breakfast on Thursday morning back at Sherry's, which is nice to be able to go back into a restaurant for that. Although we thank Tracy for being so accommodating in handling that and getting donuts and stuff over the last several months when we could not meet them there. And I'm looking forward to that and getting updates for what's going on in the county and bringing that back. So, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am also thrilled that we had just so many council or committee reports today, that's so much more interesting when they do it. So I really like that. I appreciate all of those who came to give those reports tonight. I had a meeting with the youth and young adult continuum of care as a subgroup of the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, and just again, I'm always amazed at how amazing those people are, and they're tackling a particularly complicated issue. Homelessness is a complicated problem as it is, and youth homelessness is even more complicated because it's hard to get information because they don't like to talk to adults who they have been usually betrayed by in some way or another. So it's definitely related, but it's a separate issue, and I appreciate that they are looking for some solutions to their unique challenges with that, and I really appreciate being able to be part of those conversations. I have the Smart Cities Conference coming up this Friday and Saturday, so looking forward to seeing what is involved with that. And McNary is getting ready to go hybrid. The elementary schools have been hybrid for about a month now, and the middle schools and high schools are now ready to jump into that. And so we are preparing for that, hoping that we can make a lot of caring connections with those students, realizing how challenging this was for a lot of them. And so we are also dedicated to keeping the environment safe and making sure that we follow all the protocols outlined by the CDC, the Oregon Health Department, and the district, and just making sure that everybody is as safe as can be, both physically and mentally and intellectually. So really looking forward to that. It'll be great to see kids back. We need to get back to business, and we're excited to do it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
I've got one question for you. The transition back is exciting for a lot of students, but there's a lot of pent-up anxiety and stress that many of the students and their families have gone through in this last year, as we all have. But students, as you just pointed out with our Homeless Alliance, have a particular set of needs. Are there resources or ways that we as community members and parents can assist our students as they transition back?
Yes, thank you for asking that. The district has a McKinney-Vento?
The McKinney-Vento.
McKinney-Vento program. So that is available through the district website. There are some resources available on there. And they do some excellent work in connecting those our kids with resources. And also, breakfast and lunch will be free to all students, regardless of their free and reduced lunch status. And so that is also something that we are trying to do, recognizing that, you know, lunch as a big social part of this is not going to be quite business as usual. And so there's that as well. You know, the counselors are all being trained on how to deal with this, because yes, there is a whole lot of pent up anxiety and other mental issues, and this has been very difficult for most of our kids. I'm not sure which, but well, all of our kids in some way or another. But anyway, so yes, there are definitely resources available, and again, we are, as teachers, being asked to focus on caring connections. Don't cram, you know, all the stuff that we usually cram down their throat, but instead being focused on the caring connections, and that message was definitely sent loud and clear as we gathered as a staff today.
Caring connections, that's something we can remember.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Councilor Duran.
I don't have much to talk about in Keizer this time. I was on a webinar for the population forecast, and I left my notes on that at home, so I hope Shane will have that covered. I'm sure he will, but I do remember the stuff that I made notes on. I was really astounded at the numbers that came up in that forecast. So that's really all I have for Keizer. I drove through Detroit today, and there are 5 new houses started. I've got one that's almost ready for the roof. So, but there are 5 others that are being built. So I'm really encouraged at things moving ahead in Detroit. I know some of us have worked on things up there, and things are moving. So it's very encouraging.
Well, and the groundbreaking happened for the new community center, and I know that's going to be a real focal point for that community for a Helium building. So thank you. I'm glad you're both professionally and as a volunteer helping our neighbors in Detroit. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Councilor Day.
I don't know when we were planning on bringing this up, but there's a resolution about the banking signers.
Yep, that's going to be under
Okay.
other business. So
right.
after this, then we'll pop over to that one.
Gotcha.
So thank you. So I just have one more item to mention, then we'll go to other business. And that is, I joined the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments, the COG Legislative Subcommittee. There are about 6 of the board members who are working with the lobbyists for the Council of Governments to keep track of bills and issues that are of significance for the member governments. So we're talking things about the third-party building inspectors, things having to do with transportation and land use planning, and other things that will impact our communities. So we're meeting every Wednesday morning, and I don't know who had the bright idea that 7 o'clock was a good idea, but other people get up earlier than I do. So at 7 o'clock on Wednesday mornings for the rest of the session. I will bring back to you will be the grid. We're kind of narrowing down on the issues that we're going to be tracking and make sure that you know what bills we're tracking on behalf of our 3-county area. Everybody's got different areas of emphasis. So we're trying to find our areas of commonality, but also how we can support the jurisdictions in our 3-county area. So I'm very happy to be working with the Council of Governments folks with that. Mayor McCardle, the COG president this year, Councilor Sal Peralta, Commissioner Casey Kula, myself, and there's one more I'm forgetting right now. Oh, Transit. Ian, I'll remember his last name in a minute. I'm thinking of the guy from the food bank who has the same first name but different last name. So yeah, the board chair for Salem Keizer Transit. So it's a good group working with the lobbyist to make sure that we stay on top of things. And the last thing I'll bring up is on Saturday, the Maverick League out of Volcano Stadium had their tryouts. They had 73 players on site. There were some that had already been through the process and are already good to go. And they've got a lot of talent out there. It's going to be great baseball. The beauty for us here in Keizer is that all the games will be here. It's good for our businesses. It's good for our community to have a place to go and enjoy some family get-together time, all within our COVID level stuff, wherever we're at that point. But it was great to see people outside playing baseball. It was awesome. Play ball. Just coming up, remind everybody, Parks Tour, but also the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance Board of Directors will be meeting on Thursday, and the Heritage Board meets next Tuesday night. That will involve both Councilor Reed and myself. So that's all I have on our liaison reports. Other business. This time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. City Manager Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, City Council, first off, I'd just like to say it was an easy decision to temporarily take on some additional responsibilities. I don't say that easily. I think it really shows the dedication and commitment of the department head group, also all of the city staff that we employ, but also city councilors, the commitment and dedication that you show as well. And I'd also like to say the residents of the city of Keizer. We have a lot of great residents that we get to serve. I'm confident that as we move forward through this interim period that we'll continue to keep Keizer moving forward. We're not going to bat an eye. We're just going to keep moving and keep doing the things that we do best. So like that, I say temporarily though. Thank you. With that, we do have a couple of additional items tonight to take up. The first is the designation of banking signers. And for that, I'll turn it over to City Attorney Shannon Johnson.
Thank you, Tim, and Madam Mayor and Council. I may end up turning it back to Tim in terms of if there's any questions on the details, but he and I talked last week and due to the resignation of the city manager, we need to have a resolution with regard to the form contracts with the U.S. Bank, the city's banker. And that is to change the signers from the current ones to the mayor and the finance director. Normally, by the way, if a different department head was city manager pro tem, that person would probably be the signer, and then the finance director would be the other signer. But because the finance director is both in this case, then it's not appropriate, of course, for that to be both. And we've had the mayor serve temporarily in the past as that. When the interim city manager is chosen, then we'll probably change it again. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And you do need a motion to suspend the rules first, as we indicated.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and suspend, Council President Smith for a motion to suspend the rules so we can take up the matter.
I motion that the Keizer City Council suspend the rules to consider the designation of banking signers.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules to consider the designation of banking signers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any questions on the staff report going with this resolution? Okay, seeing none, Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt a resolution R 2021 designating contract signers for banking services and authorizing finance director and mayor to designate signers for other banking functions, repealing resolution R 2016-2710.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt resolution R 2021 designating contract signers for banking services and authorizing finance director and mayor to designate signers for other banking functions, repealing resolution R 2016-2710. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Got there, so I know what I'm doing. Back to you.
Madam
Mr.
Mayor,
Wood.
City Council, we have one additional item to discuss tonight under other business. Unfortunately, this is kind of time of the essence, so we decided not to wait until the next regular city council meeting because the project that we're going to be referencing is currently in process. So for the first time since 2003, we are in the process of upgrading our municipal court software. We got through part of the process and realized that the company we were dealing with wanted to charge a convenience fee to those who are paying citations in the city of Keizer, which is not consistent with how we typically do our credit card processing. Not consistent with how we do it for utility billing or permits or any other areas, or even the past practice for cities, with our past practice with the municipal court. So with that, I have a resolution to amend the existing contract with Justice Systems, Inc. To the Site Pay USA Services Agreement dated October 1st, 2020. This will transfer the liability for the convenience fees from the customers to the city. On an annual basis, the city pays approximately $8,000 in credit card fees associated with municipal court citations, and that amount is currently provided for in the existing 2020-21 City of Keizer adopted budget. So my recommendation is first you pass a motion to suspend the rules to consider the contract amendment with Justice Systems. Following that, the council should adopt the attached resolution authorizing the finance director to enter into a contract amendment with Justice Systems, Inc. And with that, is there any questions?
All right, let's go ahead and have motion to suspend the rules so we can discuss the matter. Council President Smith?
I move the Keizer City Council suspend the rules to consider the contract amendment with Justice Systems, Inc.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council suspend the rules to consider the contract amendment with Justice Systems, Inc. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any questions on the contractors or the staff report? Councilor Day?
Where's the staple on this? That's all I want to know.
Isn't this cool?
It's magic.
It's magic.
Yep.
I didn't even notice that. That is magic.
Yep. It's a neat
Staple of
crimping system.
staples. Who would have guessed?
That was my.
That was it, that was the,
Little levy.
well, I know you were reading it through, it's like, okay, where's the typo?
No.
All right, any other questions on the staff report or the resolution itself? Okay, Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing Finance Director to sign amendment to Site Pay Services Agreement with Justice Systems, Inc.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing Finance Director to sign amendment to Site Pay Services Agreement with Justice Systems, Inc. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. That concludes, then
And with that,
other
I'll
business, if you want to check
go
in
ahead
with.
and check with all the department head group and see if they have anything else for tonight. So Ms. Davis?
Thank you. It was mentioned City of Detroit. I just wanted to note that City of Detroit City Council will be meeting here in the council chambers for the next few months. So they'll have a meeting tomorrow night at 5:30.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Chief Teague?
And we have testing for recruits starting, it's on Wednesday. I don't know how many we have. It's usually about 40. You know, Michelle? It's usually about 40. By the way, we get a lot more recruits than that. It just gets winnowed down. And we don't know how many positions we're going to hire, if any, but we don't need to be ready when we do get the go-ahead. Get that rolling?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any bilingual?
Sorry, it must be the mask.
Is your microphone on?
Is it not? It's going.
I guess, okay.
It's just me, I guess.
There you go, eat it.
I'll tell you again then, we're recruiting, testing on Wednesday. Don't know how many we're going to hire, but we want to get ahead of that so we can hire when we're able. I told you last meeting, I think, that the crew identified a ring of, we call them car clouders. These are people that steal from cars. I thought I'd tell you that we saw that number of car clouds go down 80% over a 28-day period from 22, which is a heck of a lot, down to 4. So they're doing a great job.
Fantastic.
Mr. Witham?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Councilor Duran alluded to a enthralling webinar that he and I sat through with a lot of numbers. Yeah. So it was a lot of numbers, but it was regarding population forecasts for our area. And it wasn't a huge surprise. There has been across the state, population forecasting is done through Portland State Population Resource Center. And those numbers have kind of consistently come down throughout our state. And that kind of has held the course with the Salem Keizer area as well. We are going to be having a joint Planning Commission and City Council meeting May 19th, which we will be getting information out on that. That will be the second of our meetings regarding our housing needs analysis and buildable lands inventory. And there will be some real numbers put to what that means with this new population projection. It's not official, it's draft right now, but it'll be a much more accurate representation of what we need to plan for versus what we've been looking at historically. The difference between the numbers that came out in 2017 to what's coming out now, it's quite a bit. I think in the Keizer area, our growth is maybe reduced by almost half of what we thought we were going to be growing in the 20-year horizon. But again, I'm not giving you a specific number. Our consultant will. So there was that piece. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of put on everyone's radar, and I'll be working with Tracy to get some information out to you all on this. But I'm part of a rules advisory committee for climate-friendly and equitable communities, which was driven by the governor's executive order to look at reducing greenhouse gas emissions throughout our state, specifically looking at land use planning, transportation planning, and some of our rules are being changed. So they've been holding ongoing meetings it's a huge advisory committee. But the Department of Land Conservation and Development is reaching out and holding community conversations to kind of give some background, some updates, and to kind of bring policymakers into the fold of what's happening, what's coming kind of down the pipe, so to speak. And the community conversation, I just got the email on Friday, but it is going to be on May 25th, a Zoom meeting in the evening, and you will all be invited, and I would ask and encourage you all to attend. And there are some interesting things coming out of the executive order that will require the city to do some things that we have not done in the past. One of those is we're going to be, we will get to do regional scenario planning within our region to look at how we can do a better job of reducing vehicle miles traveled, greenhouse gas reduction strategies. And we're not sure exactly how that's going to work out and what that's going to mean for us. But it is going to be, it's going to take regional planning to a little bit of another level throughout the state. And the Salem Keizer area is specifically identified as one that we're kind of the first up in the next couple of years. So I think it's going to be a lot of work for me, frankly. But I will keep you all posted as I know more, but I did kind of want to get that date out there just to kind of put it on your radar. We will be sending out an email about that community conversation. Like I said, I would encourage you to participate if you can, listen in, and always, if you hear things, you can ask me questions and I'll try to make up answers the best I can. And then just the last little thing, I know one of the things we've talked about through the goal setting session was possibilities of a transportation system plan update for the city. Our plan is quite old, it's from 2009. I did submit a pre-application request through the Transportation Growth Management Program at the end of March. And actually I have we still have yet to be able to get that call scheduled, but Mr. Laurie and I are trying to have a meeting with the DLCD staff folks. They have recommended that we may possibly want to do a TSP assessment prior to a full-blown update. So just to kind of let you know what I know, we may be looking at doing an assessment first, and that may kind of push us back a little bit in the cycle of the TSP update. Other than that, I think those were the three things on my list. So thank you very much.
Mr. Lawyer?
Thank you, Tim. A few things for me tonight. First of all, former Councilor Parsons mentioned it, the reflective pavement markings are done. Contractor finished them up in the nick of time right before the end of their contract period. I saw them before they were complete and pretty darn nice. The other thing is there's a contractor working for a developer installing a sanitary sewer line on Chamorro Road North. It's a deep sewer, about 17 feet deep. Please be patient when you're taking your kids to the big toy or your dogs to the dog park. It's going to slow you down to get to the park and getting back home, but please be patient while they lay that line. Probably take a week, maybe a week and a half to get off Chamorro Road. One of the interesting item of interest, at least I think it's interesting, I was looking at Google Earth this afternoon on some things and noticed that the shade cells show up very nicely on Google Earth. So no kids in the park that you could see, but the shade cells looked really nice. So that's all I had.
Ms. DePina?
Not a lot tonight. I did want to mention to folks that if you haven't had the opportunity to sign up to get a vaccine yet, don't look away from places that aren't quite so local. My daughter and I went to Santiam Hospital this morning and we're in and out in minutes. And so there is opportunity to go someplace other than the fairgrounds if you're in this area, and you may not have to wait as long. And I would also say myself, as well as all the department heads, are looking forward to working with the council on selection of our new city manager and our interim manager. So we'll be hand in hand, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more to report at future meetings.
Mr. Johnson?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
City councilors, is there anything else that hasn't been addressed?
I did have just one follow-up to what Mr. Witham was talking about, going along with the rulemaking from Department of Land Conservation and Development. The other part of that is SCATS, although it's a metropolitan planning organization, which is federal, there'll be a lot of interplay between the staff at the Council of Governments and the work being done on regional planning regarding land use as well as the transportation plan. So you don't have to go it alone. You got plenty of partners there. Mike Jaffe is amazing and his staff. So we'll figure it out together. And we knew this was coming for a long time. They just kept on trying to push it through the MPO, and we kept saying, you can't do that, that's federal. But we can do it through the MPO. We're like, no, you can't. So they finally figured out, we're gonna go to the cities. So they finally figured that out. So we've been waiting for this to come for about 10 years. So that's all I had on there, and major kudos, much happy dancing, and compliments about the reflectors. I was driving home Sunday night from Wearmart, and the road was just like, here you go. It was great. So thank you for that. Anything else? Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick announcement that Keizer Chamber tomorrow is doing a ribbon cutting for toe-to-toe boxing at 1130 Candlewood Drive North, number 103. So we have another business coming to Keizer. I just want to say welcome. And if you want to attend a ribbon cutting, it will be in person at 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Fantastic. Businesses keep coming here, that's great. Anything else for our staff members? And again, thank you all I know you represent all of the departments in the city and the strength that you have. You've always had, you're a great team, and I'm so blessed. We are so blessed to have all of you and all the people who work in your departments all working together with people of Keizer. Big hugs and thank you. Written communications, that was written comment that I acknowledged earlier. Agenda input, April 12th. That is next Monday. We will meet at 5:45 over at the gazebo, correct? Okay. For the joint meeting with the Parks Advisory Board, and that will be our parks tour, first time in 2 years. We finally get to do that. Think good things about the weather. We will meet again then in regular session on April 19th at 7 p.m. An issue was brought up regarding the FEMA training for the city councilors. And I was in communication with Mr. Lawyer and Council President Smith about doing a joint work session where y'all can get through that and bringing in a person who can lead you through that, who actually speaks the language fluently.
Thank you.
So, with that, we hadn't solidified a date. I hate to do this to you guys, but we got to pick a date to get that done. Is there an urgency to how fast do we need to get that done, Mr. Lawyer?
Honestly,
Yes?
yesterday.
Gotcha. All right.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Councilor Herrera, I honestly believe you've taken all the training. I honestly believe you've taken every training that you're required to take. Get online, call the phone number that's shown on the link that you've been sent, and they can help you get your records.
Right. I didn't know anything about the, may I?
Please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I didn't know anything about what's the name of the number? The first number you have to enter?
ICS?
Yeah, and at my age, close to 70 already, I read the whole thing and then I got there and my retention is not,
Well, again,
you said an hour, it took me 2.5 hours, okay?
Again, I honestly believe you've already done all the training. We just don't have your certificates. So there's a number to call that assists you in getting your transcripts. Call that number. 2 of my staff members had done that. They said it was very simple, very efficient, and they got their transcripts the next day. So I recommend you do that, then you know what you have, and you know what you have to take, which I believe is nothing.
All right.
So with that, though, it's going to be a good refresher. We need to schedule a time, if that would work for everybody, to sit through it. And the person who's willing to lead us through that is a very experienced individual with 42 years in the fire service, and that's my husband, retired Chief Kevin Clark.
Oh, okay.
He's taught this stuff. So, and he speaks it fluently. So he's available. We just need to schedule a work session time. I know you said yesterday. Do we want to go for the 4th Monday of April, or do we need to find something sooner? How yesterday are you talking about?
4th Monday of April would be fine. I just wanted to impress, it's really important to get it done.
Okay, so we're talking the 26th. Does that work? Counselor Day, does that work
Yeah.
for your schedule? Counselor Kohler?
We'll
You'll-
make it work.
You'll make, I hear that. Counselor Herrera?
That's right.
Okay. Council President Smith?
Yes.
Can you do that? Counselor Reed?
Yes.
Counselor Duran? Okay, so let's schedule that work session then for Monday, April 26th. And Mr. Lawyer, would you be in contact with Chief Clark on what resources and so forth would be helpful for us?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. And thank you, appreciate you doing that to my dear husband, who got voluntold. Well, he helped me through it when I got my certificates. Mine are still current, but I'm going to show up anyway because I can use the refresher. All right, and then last but not least, on May 3rd, we will meet at 7 p.m. in regular session. Is there anything else for the good of the order this evening? Hearing none, the time is 9:17 and we are adjourned. Thank you all.